And you know, the reasons are obvious. It's because soul prosperity, the soul is not visible. The other prosperities are visible, and there's nothing wrong with them. We need those visible prosperities, be it financial prosperity, relationship prosperity, the list goes on. But again, we will not be able to sustain those prosperities without soul prosperity. Now, back to, you know what I said, spirit, soul, and the body. I'm going to zoom into the soul. What is the soul? What are the things or the components that make up the soul? The soul, firstly, is made up of the mind. And when we're talking about the mind, what are we talking about? We're talking about our thoughts. Right? I'll come back to that. The second thing is the emotions. And you know, when we're talking about emotions, emotions come from the heart. That is why we will say, you know, in Xhosa, inhliziyo yam ibuhlungu. You are not literally talking about the organ, alright? But you are basically talking about the emotion. So it's mind, it's the heart, and I love this third one. Instinct, intuition, gut feel. There's no people that have a strong intuition, gut feel, and instinct than women.
Like women, yes.
You know what the challenge is?
We don't
We
trust.
don't trust what we
Yes,
have.
yes, we don't. We don't.
The other component, of course, still within the soul, is trust. Still within the soul, you know, there's, I just mentioned three more, the drive, the will, you know, to do something, the strength, the courage, the resilience. All of these things, they reside in the soul. Now, the challenge is, if all of these things reside in the soul, and there's no intention to work through them, to ignite them, to align them, our soul will not prosper. Example, if we start with the mind, if I'm looking at the ages of people that are here, we're looking at, you know, the lowest would have lived by less than 2 decades, right? So within that time, your mind has a collection of both good and not so good memories and scripts. Those are not going to disappear on their own. They sit in your mind. Are we together?
Amen.
Negative experiences, negative scripts, they sit in your mind. Which is why you are here now, you know, let's say I'm 30, I want to start a business, or I want to get married, then you find that the things that have happened in my life before will stand in the way of me pitching, basically, how I'm going to engage in relationships of all sorts. So we need to work on our minds. We need to work on processing the negative scripts, childhood traumas.
Hey, that's the one.
Most of us, you know, we have those. But we hear now. Those happened
We all
then.
do, eh?
And I'm going to say it again.
You know,
they
especially
are not
men,
going to disappear
men don't
on
deal
their
with their
own.
childhood
You
They
need
traumas.
to
don't,
be
and they don't
intentional
recover.
about
That's
working
why
through
It's so sad.
them.
That's why they have anger issues.
And with those negative scripts,
I always
comes
talk.
the
I meet people.
emotions.
I realize that I'm
Basically,
talking to their mother who has
there's
had
going
them.
to be,
Men are
not so
kept.
good emotions that are attached to those
Black men
experiences.
have
Black men. I'm not.
So when
a
we
trauma.
teach again, what happens is we bring negativity, but it's not because the person that you are interacting with sometimes has done something wrong, but what are they doing? They are
Triggering.
triggering
The triggers.
your own issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, those negative emotions, they are not going to disappear on their own. We need to be intentional about processing them. The list goes on. But I want to go back and define soul prosperity. And there's quite a few definitions, but I'm just going to stick with 3 definitions because it's very important for us to understand what are we talking about when we're talking about soul prosperity, and how does it tie in with spirit, soul and the body. What is soul prosperity? Soul prosperity is, and I'm going to say it very slowly, it's the psychological, emotional strength and courage to rise above anything. Rise above. So you can see just from this sentence, rising above indicates that as you walk in victory, there are certain things that you are going to be or needing to rise above. But you're not going to be able to rise above those things if you're not going to tap into your strength and your courage. So the psychological, emotional strength and courage to rise above, anything. The second definition, the belief, soul prosperity, it is the belief that in the midst of any, not some, any adversity, you're going to be okay. It's the belief, that in the midst of any adversity, you're going to be okay. That sits in the soul. Now, belief, what is that? There's a saying that goes like, how do we help the soul to believe what the spirit already knows? How do we help the soul believe that belief what the spirit already knows? Remember I said the spirit, I'm speaking psychology, the spirit is your relationship with God. That destiny, it sits in the spirit. That purpose, it sits in the spirit. Right?
Yeah.
If you are not working on your soul, uzawa mekana with destiny yakho. Each one of us, our destiny, as men are, all of us, we have a beautiful destiny. That is in the spirit. But our responsibility is to work on our soul so that we can do what? We can connect with that destiny. And we are still in the corner. Are we still together?
Yep.
And the last definition for now of soul prosperity, trusting in your resilience. Trusting in your resilience. The resiliency is bouncing back, when you're playing with the ball. So that again is indicative of the fact that in the victorious walk, there's going to be times uphansi, right? What do you need to do? Tap on your soul. Remind yourself that you are resilient so that you can do what? Uphakame. And you continue. Remember I said, walking in victory, present, continuous tense. Trusting in your resilience. What also does that mean? If you sitting in this room have gone through basically means survived, gone through certain adversities. The adversity that you are going through now, what makes you believe that you don't have the capability to overcome it? Because in principle, it's still you, with your capabilities, with your strengths, and with your spirit. But what needs to happen? Ignite that drive, ignite that courage, ignite that strength again. And I just go back quickly to intuition. One of the things that, as part of working on a prosperous soul is igniting our intuition. Like I said, all of us sitting here, we do have intuition.
Yeah.
But do you know what is different from one person who is successful and the other who is not? One person who's able to work through their issues and the other one who is not. The difference is not sharpening our intuition, not sharpening our instinct. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I am going into a business. Well, this is Koleka. It is, the pitch comes and we are flowing.
Yeah.
But my instinct, I'm hearing the pitch, right? I'm seeing the pitch.
Yeah.
But my instinct is saying, spoke about waiting for your time. My instinct is saying, maybe pass this one.
Okay.
Right? But because we are human, and because, our souls are not as prosperous as they ought to, what do? I still continue, right? So psychologically, as I continue, even though my instinct, my intuition, my gut was saying no, psychologically what I'm doing at that moment, I am silencing my intuition.
Okay.
Basically, I am teaching my intuition that I don't trust it enough.
Oh no. Oh,
Nivina,
no.
and that is a big challenge because, like I said, the intuition is not visible. What's, the business deal that we're talking about? It can be a business deal. It can be low booty. It can be whatever. Right? So what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, yes, they are not correct.
Low booty.
And like I said, because we are human, we go with what we are seeing. So can you see that again? It goes back to how do you believe? Because in the instinct, it's the belief of what you're not seeing, but you're trusting that your spirit already knows. Are we still together? Right? So what I'm going to leave you with is just a few nuggets in terms of how then do we work on a prosperous soul so that we can be able to sustain a victorious walk. Sustain a victorious walk. I'm just going to, talk about a few. The first one is, of course, self-awareness. We always talk about that. But I'm going to, just zoom into a SWOT analysis of self. Remember, there's purpose, there's your soul. You are in your walk on a journey of connecting with your purpose. Do a SWOT analysis of where you're at as of now. We know the SWOT analysis, right? Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Basically, be clear about what is it in reconnecting with yourself that you need to work through. The second one is honor your journey. Embrace your journey. Most of the time, we miss out on our own purpose because sikhalela what is happening with the next person. The other day I was in the gym, there's this 70-year-old woman. The kind of squats she was doing. When I looked, we ended up striking a conversation, 70 years old. And then I'm thinking, I still have another 20 to go, but I can't even do half of what she's doing. Honor your journey. It is yours. It's your purpose. Don't compare yourself with other people. The other nugget, ignite that drive, that spirit, that will to say, you know what, I'm going to be intentional about reconnecting with my purpose. And the second last one is have healthy boundaries, meaning decide what you are allowing into your emotional space. I usually say no is a full sentence. You don't have to explain it. No.